Dans une photo de Pierre et Gilles, immortalisé en beauté, l'ange soudain, ce battement de cils, la seule jeunesse d'avoir été. En madone ou sainte allumeuse, en marin ou mauvais garçon, posé en simple amoureuse sous une belle couronne d'illusions. Idéaliser ce regard, que la vie redevienne intense. Non, il n'est jamais trop tard au royaume des espérances. Dans une photo de Pierre et Gilles.
More than just a brand or a logo, Pierre et Gilles are internationally renowned in the world of art. Pierre, the photographer, and Gilles, the painter, make for a formidable duo. For 40 years, both celebrities and anonymous people have posed for them before the intricate full-scale sets they create in their studio. Once the photography has been printed on canvas, Gilles can begin his meticulous work as a painter to give birth to a unique work of art.
There will be crayons as well. I found some inflatable crayons, and a box of crayons is rainbow-colored. I went to a shop where they sell all sorts of incredible inflatable things. This is Eddie de Préto. We were taken by his personality, by his persona.
We love him a lot. And he became
an inspiration.
It takes time to put together. At first, we had this image of him from his first record, with his bowl cut and no beard. We wanted to depict him as some sort of lunar character reminiscent of silent movies. When he came to visit us, he had a completely different style, and he had grown a beard.
We decided to turn him into a little king.
Eddie de Préto is an original and unconventional artist with sold-out shows across France. He will soon be posing for Pierre et Gilles, and he will only discover the set they have imagined for him at the very last minute.
I think the Fleur de Lys flag will be our best option.
Pierre et Gilles is first and foremost us. People recognize us through our work, our way of working, of putting images together and of telling stories. The world we have created allows us to express all sorts of things. When we started working together, we wanted to blend our techniques. Pierre was a photographer, and I was a painter. As soon as we made our first image, our style was born. The images from our beginnings were mainly portraits because we lived in a small apartment. When we moved to a bigger apartment, the backdrops became larger, but we still didn't have enough space to make full-length portraits. Now that we live here, we have enough space for bigger sets and full-length portraits. But when people nowadays see an image, they think, oh, that must be photoshopped. We have remained the same, and we still work from an artisan perspective. Each set is handmade. We make everything. You can't create an image like these with Photoshop. Our protagonists are truly standing in front of the set, like in theatre. They're influenced by the scenes we've created.
That's me at my communion. As a child, I really liked churches. I particularly liked the Virgin Mary. As a kid, I was badly burnt. I fell into boiling water and my skin just peeled off like a glove. I was very badly burnt. Apparently, I experienced an apparition of the Virgin Mary, and she saved me. She was beautiful in her white dress. She was one of the first saints we depicted together. My father was an optician. He married my mother, and she worked as a saleswoman in the front of the shop. I had a small Instamatic camera at the time. I would have my photos developed at a shop in Les Sables d'Olonne, where I would spend holidays. One day, I was surprised to see that the owner had placed some of my photos in the front window alongside his own. And I thought, maybe I'm onto something. It was encouraging. I would photograph my friends, boys and girls. The images were quite provocative, and that's what he liked about them. The models were very young, not fully dressed, and posing in places like cemeteries or train stations. I was trying to create a fantasy world. It creates an emotion. I like emotion in art. It's what I like best. These are photos from when I arrived in Paris in 72, 73, before I met Gilles. That's Jay Johnson. I loved Jay. He was very ambiguous, very androgynous, and at the same time, he reminded me of a silent movie actor. He had a bit of a Valentino vibe. I met him in Paris. He was there to shoot in Andy Warhol's film L'Amant, and this is a little girl who was one of my favorite models. Her name was Titu. I had her pose like Marilyn on the subway vents. We made all sorts of photos. I was living at a hotel at the same time. They had this dog named Rex that I adored. This is an ad for suits I did at the time with Tom. Tom was Jay's boyfriend. There are a few photos I have left from that time. They've nearly all disappeared, but I was able to save these.
They have all sorts of colors.
They have nothing but bras today.
Yep. They're selling briefs as well.
Just like Dadaist artists, Pierre Gilles transformed everyday objects into works of art.
Aren't these flowers pretty?
Pierre Gilles have their habits at local market and dollar stores, as they are always keeping an eye open for elements to include in their next project.
Yes, they're clementines. Oh, that's pretty. Look. You like that, Toto? I think I'll get something like this. It's pretty and you never know. For our next framing. Thanks. Have a nice afternoon. Bye. Let's install them one by one. Come with me.
It's so heavy.
It doesn't look like it, but it's very heavy. We'll put one here. I like the transparent, shiny side.
Okay.
Do you want to try the other side? I like the shiny side best. The other side isn't as pretty. Let's put one here. Right.
Eddie will stand here, right?
Yes. Let's see, put the rainbow more to the one in front of you.
This way?
Just a bit more that way. Pose like Eddie. Are you properly centered? That's not bad. We more or less have the basis to our backdrop. Let's add the mannequin in the center to see how he fits in.
Not too bad.
That's about Eddie's height.
Are you okay? It's not too heavy? Here.
In the center, where the line is. Where's the crown?
The crown?
Here it is. He needs his crown.
There. That looks completely different.
Don't put it on so low. We're going to experiment with several costumes now. This one with the smiley faces. I don't think the colors work well. Too pale.
No.
No. No.
That's too magician-like.
Let's try with the fur.
Nice and warm.
Let's see how this looks.
It's a bit too Rasta.
Rasta Eddie. It's a bit short.
It's a bit...
The colors are good, but we're not quite there yet.
No, it looks like he's wearing a coat.
The colors are pretty, though, but that's not it. This is the one we prefer. The flag.
With the fleur de lis pattern.
Yes, the colors are good. And it's instantly understandable. A little king amongst the rainbows. The crown and the beard and the flag. It's not much, but it's already a lot. My mother said, "What are you going to do at art school? It's not going to work out. You're going to mess it up, you're too sloppy." My father didn't believe in the idea either. But there weren't any other options, really, so I went to art school. On the first day, we had to draw nude. A girl was posing nude and we had to sketch her with charcoal. I found it to be really anguishing. I'd never used charcoal. I tried drawing, but I didn't enjoy it at all. I went home for lunch that day and told my parents I wouldn't be going back. My parents told me to stick with it for a few months until we figured something out. So I returned to school and did my best at drawing. My grades were actually not bad, and the teachers seemed to like me. They would say things like, "This is very sensitive work, it's very pretty." Little by little, I built up confidence and I started to become a good pupil. One day, I was working on an assignment for our decorative arts teacher, and I made these lemon yellow and black images. The teacher saw them and said, "What an awful sense of harmony, that's horrible. You should use colored grays with hints of orange and yellow, a bit like Picasso did." I responded that I liked lemon yellow and black. I started to rebel against the teachers and their ideas. I would do the opposite of what they would ask me to do. Little by little, I developed my personality, began making collages. I used plastic flowers, cut-out bodybuilders, and pin-up girls. Basically, the stuff everyone hated. This is the work I presented for my diploma. The idea of using de Gaulle's official portrait in 1970 was a shocker. Many people were very displeased. As a child, I would buy bodybuilding magazines. I loved them. I would buy them in secret. I didn't want my parents to see them. It nearly felt like they were forbidden. They were a revelation for me. I began to discover my personality, to reveal the unconsciousness that I had inside. We need the yellow one to be higher.
Yes, higher.
It's better when they're all blue, it's more legible.
Yes, push it towards the center a bit. No, a bit higher. Higher? Yes, higher. It's funny to see him be revived this way.
I love SpongeBob SquarePants. He's my favorite. Should we use Pinocchio? I'm not sure. We'll have to wash Dora, she's dirty. She's too old.
The monkey works well.
Yes, he goes with Dora. Isn't he sweet?
Just a little bit lower, Philippe. Just a bit.
I think we will write Eddie over here. Or do you prefer the other side?
No, that side.
This way. Let me see the letter E.
No.
No, slanted.
Tilt that neon forward.
Like so?
Toward the floor.
There.
Okay.
I was born in Le Havre in 1953. Hey, shut up, bird. My father was a solicitor. My mother was a stay-at-home mum. They had 9 children. I was the 5th. That's beautiful. I loved walking around town. I admired this town when it was being rebuilt. They were making it modern with, for example, the St. Joseph Church with its tall concrete tower. To me, it looked like the Empire State Building. I would go and watch movies at the cinema, and then I would come and look at this church. I felt like I was in an American movie. It made me very happy. That's the hairdressers I used to go to as a child, chez Francis. I was always arguing I wanted long hair. It's kept the same name. It's just a little neighborhood salon. I was very religious as a child. I was a choir boy at St. Vincent's Church. I didn't want to sing, but I was in charge of the incense. The first saint we depicted was Saint Teresa. She was a woman from Normandy who lived near Le Havre. We had been to Lisieux where I wanted to buy this object, a ball that created a cloud of roses when you flipped it over. The priest told me I was forbidden to buy it. He said it wasn't religious and that I shouldn't buy that sort of thing. I was very frustrated I couldn't buy it. Those things were important. I grew up in a very Catholic family, very Christian. One of my brothers became a Benedictine monk. Religion was very important, and it helped me a lot. I think about this a lot. My religion never did me any harm. In regards to my homosexuality, for instance, it helped me accept myself at a very young age. I was 18 when I arrived in Paris. I started going out in clubs like the Seth, for example. I met Pierre at a party organized by Kenzo. I'd seen his work before in the press, and as soon as I saw Pierre, I went up to speak to him. I wasn't shy at all. After that, we were never apart. We very quickly began working together. We would collect ID photos. I started doing this when I was 15, around 68, 69. And I continued doing so for 20 years, up until 1988. It's a whole episode of my life. The best part is my arrival in Paris and our early days with Pierre, all of our friends from the Palace Club, etc.
There was a photo booth near where we lived that remained open all night. All sorts of things happened in that booth.
Here as well?
Serge Gainsbourg.
Where do you see Gainsbourg? Oh, there he is. This is an incredible document representing that period in time, the Palace Club era, seen through a photo booth. Look, there's Farida. We wanted photos of us and of our friends pulling faces. My work started out very simple. A photo booth photo is as simple as it gets. Now we make complex, sophisticated sets, but it started out very simply. That was our first self-portrait. We had put our phone numbers on it, remember?
We had a few issues because of that.
We got a lot of phone calls. Unfortunately, we ended up being burgled.
It was the early days.
This is one of our first publications in Facade. That's Jamila.
That's Eva Lanesco. This is one of the first pictures of her.
Iggy Pop. This photo is incredible. It took us 10 minutes to put together, to figure out the angle.
Not even 10 minutes.
He was in such a state, with a girl in his bed.
The sink was broken, there were bottles of champagne, and he was naked underneath here.
And we just threw this shirt and tie on him for the photo.
It kind of works for the character.
Iggy Pop's portrait is not unlike the photo booth images, very instantaneous. I'll let you handle that.
Does the love sign look better there?
That looks good.
Okay, that's pretty good. The inspiration for an image often comes from the models themselves. Sometimes we will have an idea we hold on to for a long time before finding the model that fits. But usually the model is the starting point, right?
Yes, it's always the model. Sometimes we have the model, but it takes us a year or two to find the right idea for them. Our work is always tailor-made in accordance with the model's personality.
I can't wait to see my painting.
Whenever you want. Let's show you the photo.
Farida Khelfa has been a friend of Pierre Gilles for a long time. As a model, Farida was a brand ambassador for Jean-Paul Gaultier and Jean-Paul Goude. Since then, she has become a film director.
Oh, wow. He's amazing. Very beautiful.
Since the Palace Club era, she has posed for them many times.
She's really beautiful. I love the look in her eyes. The look in the eyes is powerful. It's incredible. The image is full of symbolism, and at the same time, there's something ancient about it. The veil gives it an ancient quality, brings us back to the history of humanity. There's also something that goes beyond the veil. I found this photo very powerful.
It's a mix of things. When we were kids, the Virgin Mary was represented with a veil.
Exactly.
It's Christianity.
Of course.
We wanted to make a mix of both. Both religions, both cultures, because of how linked they are.
Of course. That's what gives it its ancient vibe. Both were born together. The role of art is to shed light on such questions.
Right.
That's the power of art. What is the significance of a woman wearing a headscarf? Art creates a dialogue. That's what's interesting.
You look beautiful.
Of course I do. I'm wearing a veil.
But we can still see your face. Look at the mouth. It's beautiful.
Yes, you're right. Thank you.
You like that, don't you, Toto?
You cheeky boy.
Pierre Gilles' work combine a variety of their influences. They will indiscriminately include images from religious, mythological, or biblical figures depicted in the manner of the great classical painters, alongside cult personalities from gay imagery, fairy tales, and graphic novels, movie stars, or borrowed from Bollywood.
Hello.
Salut.
Ça va?
Ça va toi?
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
On va passer.
Tiens. Voilà, voilà. Oh.
That's crazy.
Regarde vu par ici.
From here you can see what it will look like.
La photo. Tu vois, c'est comme ça.
Tiens, regarde sur l'écran.
Have a look on the screen, you'll get a better idea.
Trop bien.
So cool.
It's been an adventure.
Amazing.
There's only one thing left to do.
Absolutely. I'm used to photo shoots, but they're really good at directing. And their work is super meticulous and carefully thought out. It's really cool. I like to be challenged by things, even disturbed sometimes. It allows me to move forward, to elevate myself, to question myself, and then question my own work as well. To go even further into research and work on themes that I find steering on the gut level. Other people's art helps me move forward a lot, for sure. Shall we go down?
Do you want to see yourself in the mirror?
There's a big mirror that way.
There's a bigger one over here. You'll see yourself better.
This looks great. I'm happy with this.
Do you prefer holding the fabric, or do you want safety pins?
I'm happy to hold it.
You want to hold it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it'll look better.
Yes, that was good.
Like this?
Not too taut.
Be careful with your shoelaces. Don't fall into the set.
Yeah, I promise.
Like this?
Yeah, maybe that's better.
It adds some curves.
Yes.
Shall we switch off the neon?
No, it works. Eddie, can you move in closer to the wall? Just by a tiny bit.
That doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
I like it.
Turn your body towards me. Just your body, the bottom part of your body.
Like this?
Pull it to the side so we can see his leg.
Like this?
Yes.
Stay like that, and just change your facial expression slightly. Smile a bit more, smile a bit less. Turn your head a bit. I liked it, that little corner smile you were doing. It looked good.
A bit of a cunning, mischievous look.
Right, a bit mischievous. Turn your head a bit towards the window, just a bit. Look at me. Smile a bit.
He's not smiling.
Yes, he is, just a tiny bit.
See, there's a little smile.
I don't know how to smile.
Yes, you do.
The beginning was good. There's a good one in there.
That was good, with your leg like that.
The composition is looking good.
Open your leg the way you were doing, Eddie. That looked good.
This one?
Yes.
I don't know. I find it looks weird having that big leg sticking out. I liked it simpler, like this. Why don't you want to look? See, that's better, don't you think?
What's that? A reflection? It looks good.
Simpler is better.
At some point, it looked good, though.
Lots of them are good. Let's continue and just have fun.
Smile. I think we're good.
Yes, I think so.
Well done.
Well done to both of you.
Shall we shoot the set by itself?
We do this out of affection, because we're interested by the models. They inspire us.
They want to enter our world, and we want to enter theirs. It's always tailor-made to fit what they want to express.
With some models, we only produce one picture, because the image speaks to us and is self-sufficient. There are also models we work with regularly and who can take on all sorts of different roles, because we know them better and keep discovering new sides to them.
Above all, it's about the relationship and connection that they have with the model. What the model evokes through his personality, his sensitivity. I've posed for Pierre Gilles 10 times over the course of 10 years. My first character was a sailor, a warrior sailor. Then we work on mythology with Achilles, Orestes, King Solomon, and even Adam. Then we work on more contemporary mythologies with, for example, the Silver Surfer from the Marvel Universe. We've worked on different themes. My relationship to my body and the fact that I have been sporty since a young age has allowed me to sculpt my body in accordance to our inspirations, maybe sculptures from the antiquity, paintings, or other representations. Each photo requires several weeks of preparation. The sessions require a lot of focus and concentration.
I can detect a broad range of references in their work, which they have borrowed from painting, cinema, or photography, to create very specific images that have a very particular touch. Their style is rather typical of the style developed in the 80s, with a rather constructed and staged approach to photography. You could say they were part of that scene, but their way of doing things is very personal. They make painted photography, and that's something people sometimes feel hard to apprehend. They can't believe it. They think it's been digitally touched up. You have to give them proof. It's a unique way of working. Then an interesting process begins, as the image will in turn be photographed and reproduced. Especially nowadays, with internet. The image is returned to popular culture. It goes both ways, which I find very interesting.
Look, that's fun. Our photos are often recycled on internet. That was during the Hillary Trump campaign.
A dog.
Oh yes, that's right.
In the manner of Pierre Gilles.
It was very successful on social media. It's a dog depicted in our style.
Not bad.
Look, Jean-Paul Gaultier transformed into Putin and Trump. Here, people have used our work and added flames and smoke in front of it. It's fun.
I've never seen this one. A lot of tattoos.
A lot of people have gotten our images as tattoos. Look how pretty this is, with the petals raining down. I find it very pretty. It doesn't shock me at all. It adds some life to it.
And this?
That's not our work. Someone had fun doing this. It's hilarious.
They've animated our faces. It's a bit like what Cindy Sherman is doing.
At the moment, yes. A lot of people write to us saying they dream of posing for us. We met this young man via Instagram, Vincent. We loved his visual world. Here's his Instagram page. And this is the photo that caught our eye and made us want to have him pose for us. This incredible image, which is basically the same one we later reproduced. He brought something to the table with this image. It's a powerful, violent image.
Pierre and Gilles wanted to make a photo on the theme of hazing. They had seen a photo of me on my Instagram where I wrote insults all over my face. I had been working on the themes of discrimination and homophobia. I'm proud to have done something that has a real impact. It surprises people, it creates a reaction. People react very strongly to the image. I'm proud of it.
They also have a great freedom in the way they treat subjects, a kind of pseudo-naive approach that allows them to get a certain number of messages across, which are sometimes political. But the way of presenting them creates a link of empathy between the subject represented and the viewer. You're immersed in the subject, which is how they can transmit their message.
That was at a fair in Istanbul. They had all these cutouts you could pose in. And one of them represented a couple getting married. We decided to have a picture taken of us as a married couple.
We put our heads in, and the photo was taken quickly, but we didn't stick around because a lot of people were...
That's right, we were getting a lot of strange looks. I don't think the Turks were too happy to see us posing as a newlywed couple.
That's when the idea for a wedding self-portrait first came to us.
Yes, it was.
The starting point.
Yes, the starting point.
We did this in 92 or 93.
Well before gay marriage was legal. We supported and defended the struggle for gay marriage because we believe in equality and freedom. But we are still not married. We are in a civil union, but we have posed twice as newlyweds.
Pierre and Gilles often return to Le Havre. Their relationship to the town reached a high point in 2017, when a retrospective exhibition of their work was held at the André Malraux Museum of Modern Art.
You can climb up into the sculpture. People climb up inside.
When we showed our work at the MoMA, we wanted our installation to be in the main hall. We were visiting my sister, who has a beach cabin close by. I was looking at the cabins when the idea hit me. Let's build our installations inside these cabins. We chose 5 images and installed them in 5 cabins facing the port through the windows of the museum. The locals loved the exhibition. They were touched by the image of these cabins that mean so much to them. They are very important here. Back in the day, they were all white. I loved coming here to have lunch.
I like that they all have their own indoor decorations.
It's pretty. It's like a little theater. The beach was very different when I was a child. There were places to have drinks. The beach was really nice in the 60s and 70s.
Have you seen the sky?
And with the clouds. When I was a kid, you saw way more sailors. Over that way was the neighborhood where you had prostitutes, bars for the sailors, etc. All of that has disappeared. Those places don't really exist anymore. When you're on the opposite dock, on the other side, the view is amazing. I think it's one of the most beautiful views. You can see the boats coming into the port, you can see the MoMA. It's an extraordinary place. We wanted to work on urban landscapes. The town of Le Havre was a big inspiration with its port and its industrial zone. We love all of that. It reminds us of our childhood. It also has an austere quality to it as well. It's a whole world. The port, the sailors, the chimneys, the cranes, the factories. There's something beautiful about it. It's a beautiful town.
Sylvie represents my childhood dream, my teenage dream. I really dreamt of photographing her. It's great when you have the opportunity to one day make a dream come true. It makes for a good story.
That was for her show at l'Olympia.
Yes, yeah.
Here it is, that was the invitation.
That's right. The invitation was beautiful.
And you had a song in the spirit of this photo.
Yes, this photo. Oh, it's beautiful. I love this one with the vampire bite.
Sylvie's origins, Bulgaria.
The Balkans.
With the snow. I love the snow. And I've never asked for anything particular in the set. No, you make the suggestion.
It's a surprise for you when you arrive.
Yes, I love that.
We would discuss a few things like the clothes.
Yes, the clothes, but in this case, I mean, I wasn't wearing any. Here's the latest photo they took of me. As a kind of samurai. No, not a samurai.
Lady Oscar.
There's a bit of Lady Oscar.
And a bit of Japanese Takarazuka.
I'm always very happy to accept what they suggest. Their work mingles theatrics, poetry, and there's also a link to childhood and something really dreamlike.
We all need to dream.
I was on tour in Japan last May. I really wanted to pay my respects to Pierre Gilles. They are internationally renowned, so it was an honor for me as well. I'm very sensitive to places and their atmosphere. The first time I came here, I was thoroughly enthused. Something inhabits you when you come here. I was sensitive to everything they exuded, sensitive to their world, their childlike quality, and how discreet they are. Despite my reputation as a rather distant person, there is still a little girl somewhere inside of me. I'm very sensitive to this childlike dreamer side they have.
The first time, she had really short hair. I was about 11 or 12, and I would spend my time drawing her.
Do you have those drawings?
I have a few.
Really? That's funny, you've never shown them to me.
Even nowadays, he still draws you.
I mean, nowadays, sure, but as a child?
As a child as well?
Because a child doesn't have the same skills, even if he's talented.
He knows you.
I found some.
Oh, yes.
That's cute.
That's really touching. I'm noticing how observant you were as a child. All the details are there. The little heart.
The little heart.
Yep, the little heart.
Everything, it's all the same. Well done.
I hadn't told you all of that.
Now I'm going to apply the first layer of varnish. I put at least 4 or 5 layers over the photo to protect it, in case I make a mistake I need to correct. Can you see that blue getting deeper? First I apply layers of a shiny varnish. Then I apply a layer of satiny varnish before beginning to paint. I'm checking I haven't missed a spot. I like painting on canvas because it has a specific texture. It gives me more freedom in my painting. There. First layer done.
Once Pierre is done shooting the image, Gilles moves in to play his part, a meticulous exercise for which he uses tiny paint brushes made from marten hair. In the manner of a realistic painter, Gilles emphasizes colors, highlights textures, adds transparency, magnifies the model's complexion, and gives them a glowing aura. His intervention on the work renders a timeless and somewhat magical result.
The painting work takes a long time, but it isn't visible, or hardly. The goal is for it not to be visible. That's how we create the magic. When you watch a film, the set director's work isn't visible. I like for people to dream in front of an image. They need to dream and not notice the strokes from the paintbrush. Our first reaction is to enter the image in a dreamlike state. When you see our work in real life, it's different. You can see the strokes from the brush. If you move in really close, you can see the work, but you really have to be paying attention.
Regarde, je lui de paillettes et me réduis au chaos, c'est la fête de trop. Moi je l'ai fait des fêtes.
So how's it looking? I feel like the yellow is too strong.
Non, tu trouves pas? Essaye de mettre.
Try switching them for blue, green and red ones.
Des rouges, des verts.
Yes, that's less in your face.
Continue.
In Asia, Pierre and Gilles' work has been very appreciated for many years already. The younger generation in Korea particularly likes their colorful and playful aesthetics. Considered as typically French, their work knows great success in Seoul.
That's very good. There's nothing to add. It's very good.
No, here we're happy. It's really nice. We like it very much.
It's a bit small. Should we add some lighting?
Some building site projectors.
I discovered Pierre and Gilles' work in Actuel magazine as a teenager in the 80s. It was a real shock, a revelation. It was a minimalist era when people said painting was dead. So the work of Pierre Gilles, with its colors and fantasy, were perfectly suited for the imagination of a young girl.
À l'imaginaire d'une toute jeune fille.
I had the luck of finally working with them when they left their gallery. I was adamant they should be represented by Templin Gallery, which I have been directing for over 15 years. There are over 200 pieces being shown in this exhibition. It's a huge ensemble. It's one of the biggest exhibitions we've organized in years. When we met with the director of the KMCA, the Museum of Contemporary Art here in Seoul, we realized things would line up quite well with their project in terms of the time frame, the works available, etc. So we decided to go ahead with the project. Is this good for you? I think it's exactly the right amount of light.
To them, stripes are very French. That's what they explain to us. It's interesting to see their relationship to images. They work on colors and other things in a very different way from back home. That's what makes it interesting.
What they really like what you did, the relationship between the stripes and the work. Ah, ça vous va?
Bah oui, ça c'est bien. Tout m'étonne.
I'm surprised by everything. It's a bit crazy, but it's pretty. I'm surprised with how the images interact with each other.
Are you surprised?
Yes, very surprised, in a good way.
In a museum like the KMCA, visitors expect an interactive experience. Just looking at paintings on a wall won't satisfy them. To make an exhibition more attractive, you need to present the artworks in an unexpected way and make the visit more exciting. We imagined a kind of staged itinerary that wouldn't take away from the work itself. It adds to the experience, allowing the visitors to better appropriate the artist's work.
And on them, then we install pieces like stars or...
4, 3, 2, 1.
야, 넌 지금 사진 찍을 때가 아니라. 뭐야? 이거 한 번만 이건 가져가고.
The whole series is here. That's good.
In Korea, we say a city needs 3 factors to be more attractive. The same concept applies to contemporary art exhibitions. It's the rule of the 3 T's. Firstly, technology, secondly, talent, and thirdly, tolerance. Tolerance towards differences, gender, ethnicity, or even homosexuality. We thought Pierre Gilles would be an adequate choice to talk about these subjects. Tolerance might be the key word of this exhibition.
They identified all the words that correspond to our work and us. Tolerance, love, sex, photography, death, they've entered into our world. I mean, nothing is lost in translation. The eyes understand what they are seeing, allowing us to better understand each other.